Hi friends, welcome to the Lightboard system, okay? I'm gonna actually start by quitting out of the shell, or out into the shell, and I will walk you through sort of getting us up to this point, okay? And getting set up in EOS. So you will find on Canvas a page called Stagecraft Light Lab Resources. There's a copy of the plot for this. I'm also going to give you that in hard copy. And then there's this show file right here, which you will want to download because that's what we will be opening momentarily. When you first open the EOS Family shell, I just found it by hitting my launch pad and then going to EOS Family welcome screen. This is the outside shell. There are several different ways that you can access the EOS Nomad software. Because we are using, there's offline with Viz and there's offline, because we are using Augmented as our visualizer, we can use offline, the straight version, and just click on that button and it will launch. This is the Lightboard, okay? So it will launch the Lightboard. It'll probably look something like this. I don't know if it'll look exactly like this, but I'm gonna now give you a few steps to get this interface set up to be the most useful to you, okay? So the first thing you'll notice is that there's this little caret over here that pops up the browser. And that's going to be really helpful in sort of locating the file you need. The other thing that's useful is up here at the top are different screen layouts. We're going to set up a very specific screen layout to work with for this project that should allow you to both see the model and also see your channels on the other side of your screen. So I'm going to first go into this little file window and I'm going to find open, and then I can go look on my computer for that file. I would move it when you download it onto your desktop so it's easy to find, and then you can look for this Stagecraft Light Lab object. Double click on that and have it open everything about it, and now we have a show. Okay, this has a patch in it, which I was not expecting. Let me open a different version. Sorry, let me get the version that is the one I sent you. One moment, teaching. And Spring 22, Stagecraft. Let's try this one. Yes, okay. So now I have a show loaded, but it's invisible because it's not patched yet. I'm gonna have you do that part. So I have an invisible show that you can't see. It's open though, that's cool for us. Now I'm gonna set up my screen so that I can see everything that's going on, okay? First thing I'm gonna do is click up here, right? And when I click on this picture of a monitor, I get different options for laying out the screen, and I'm gonna lay it out in 2 columns like this to start, okay? So on this column is the channels. Right now it's in patched channels mode. Yours probably will not be in patched channels mode. It'll probably look like active in use, selected, live table. Yeah, maybe something like live table. There's so many choices. Might look like this, live table, maybe, or it might look like something else. And this is all flexi modes, which are different ways to look at what are called tombstones, which are what these little buttons are, okay? So these little buttons are called tombstones. They are a little block that gives us information about a specific channel number, and they are listed over here in this flexi mode. So I'm gonna just twirl that closed again real quick. Then I'm going to open up in this tab, there's a plus, and I'm gonna open up Augmented, which is tab 38 in that side. So Augmented is your visualizer. We're gonna put that up right here so you can see what the stage looks like. There it is, okay? So it's a little close in. I might zoom back using the scroll wheel of my mouse so I can see the whole stage. You'll see there's a lighting rig in the air, there's a curtain, there's a couple people, and there's some random blocks on the stage just to give us something to look at, right? In the Augmented tools, you can change all kinds of stuff. The thing I would be most interested in changing would be this light settings thing, right? So ambient light is how much room light is on. You'll probably want to work with low or off when you're doing your lighting choices, right? You can also change how bright the lights are right here. And you can change different other pieces of information about those fixtures, okay? So this is sort of your default settings for how lights render in Augmented, which is very important. Over here on this side, we're gonna actually open up a couple more tabs. I want you to open up the color palettes tab. No, I lied to you. Close that tab. I want you to open up the color picker. Where's the color picker? Color picker, color picker. Color picker tab. So color picker is going to give you access to choose colors for any of your moving lights. You can also open up the moving lights controls tab right here. So we do have 2 moving lights in this rig, and if you want to control them, it's going to be there. And then the last thing I'm going to have you open up is, where is it? The virtual keyboard. So this is a virtual version of the keyboard on the light board itself. And the convenient thing about it is it's here in this tab. You can also get to both the moving light controls and the virtual keyboard in these little pop-up windows on the top. So those are good things to keep in mind, so that you can see what you're doing. If you, as you become more familiar with the software, you'll start learning the keyboard shortcuts that are all listed in the bottom corner of these keyboard pieces, and that's to allow you to do this on a computer rather than having to do it only on a console, right? So there's our table. So these are our tombstones. The last thing we're going to open up is the patch, and that is going to let us patch these fixtures, okay? So once I've done that, I can twirl this down for just a second so you can see it. I can scroll through, and I've already assigned fixture type and channel to each fixture for you. So these lights already have what type of light they are and what channel they are in. They also already have their color attached to them. The piece that we're going to add in today is the address, and that's going to be different depending on what kind of light we have, right? So as we've discussed, a dimmer is one address, right? You just have one attribute, it's how bright. And so the dimmers only get one address each. The fixtures that are on dimmers, on dimmer control, have assigned dimmers on the light plot. So you will see on the light plot, there's like a hexagon, that's the dimmer number. When you make your channel hookup, you'll put that in for the address box, okay? Then when we get down into color source pars and color source psych units, each of those has multiple addresses because each of them has multiple parameters that the light board is controlling. So the way that you'll address those fixtures is after you've run through all of the dimmers, after those are all assigned, you can come in and assign those addresses for your color source pars, your color source psychs, and your rogues. The computer will figure out automatically how many addresses each fixture needs. So you don't have to keep all of that in your brain once you're using a console that is in the future like this one. For the purposes of today, I'm going to skip the dimmers. I could do the first one maybe, just so that you see the process. So that's the first light in dimmer 1. And if we come into the light plot, we can find out that channel 1, when we scroll down here, this is channel 1. It's in dimmer 12, okay? So I click on channel 1, I click A for at, right? So at right here, keyboard shortcut A. Now it's looking for an address, and the address for channel 1 is 12. And then I hit enter, okay? Then I can start with channel 2. So 2 at, and then let's see what 2 is addressed to. Oh, that's not the right thing. This is already zoomed in over here. 2 looks like it's in 13, okay? So now I can come back in here and I can say 2 at 13, enter, right? I bet 3 is at 14, okay? And I can sort of keep working my way down through the list, okay? So go ahead and address your channels first. Then you'll come in here, or sorry, your dimmers, address your dimmer units first. Then once you get to the color source pars, you can hit delete to clear all of this away. Go find that first color source par fixture, which is 31. And you can say 31, T for through, and it looks like there are 6 of them, 36. And then you can say at, and if you look at this little grid down here, it's going to show you which dimmers have been used already, okay? So I'm going to start at dimmer 20, okay? 20, enter. And now it knows how many each of these fixtures requires, and it adds that information in and gives them each the correct number of addresses, okay? So now I can do the same thing with my color source psych units. So I'll hit delete, I'll hit 41, T for through, 49, at, and I'll start those at 50 because that's my next open address. And then those will all fill in, bringing us up to 94. I think I'll skip to 100 for the rogues. So I can say 51 and plus 52 at, and start at 100, okay? And now those each have 17 addresses, and so those are now completed as well, okay? So you'll be able to call them up by channel, but their addresses are what you would tell them to be looking for, right? So once everything is addressed in the light board, if we were doing a real show, you would then have to go up to each of those fixtures on the back and tell it what its address should be, right? So you can go on the back and you kind of poke through and you say, okay, 46 needs to be addressed at 75 because that's its first number that it's looking for. 42 should be addressed at 55, right? And so all of this information then translates back into the physical world so that they are listening for the right numbers once they exist, okay? So that is patching. And now you'll notice when we come back into the table, right, you have like gaps and things, and like these have red, green, and blue that you can see. Some of them now are lighter gray, which means that they're patched. At this point, I would come up here into Flexi again until it says live table patched, because then I'm only seeing fixtures that actually exist, okay? And so that's how I would manage that, okay? So go ahead and try and set up your patch for your light plot, and let me know as you run into problems and have questions, and I will wander around the room and help you out and get everybody so that we're set up for next class when we'll do some programming. All right, friends, thank you. Bye.